Everyone remembers Megas used to rule the TCG, but here in 2025, they're just not cutting it, and here's why. Okay, so some people will say it's wild that I think Megas are not cutting it, but let's take a look at what we actually have seen from the Megas, because that's a great reason why I think Megas is not cutting it. We have the Mega Venusaur, the Mega Manectric, Absol, Kangaskhan, Latias, Mawile, Camerupt, Gardevoir, Lucario, and a Abomasnow. But what is the support engine for these megas? And how good are they actually? Like, they give free prizes. That is half of the prizes you need to take. So let's take a look at why I think megas are not superior to the regular EXs, and why I think we will not see them dominate the format, at least yet. Okay, so far people will say it's a pretty bold statement that I say megas are not cutting it, but I don't think they are as strong as the old megas. So back in the day we had the Mega Rayquaza, which I will show over here, and we had one of those I actually think was strongest was the Mega Audino. Um, and back when they were really viable, they had a lot more support. They had the Skyfield Stadium, and we had the now I need to remember the Latias, which was pretty good. We had we had a lot of great support for them, but the current megas are actually not that strong. And what I noticed in the Mega Symphonia, no, the Mega Evolutions first set was the main thing we got was a support for a lot of different types we have not seen a lot of support for. And I will go over some of the support we got and why I think the megas is not the most important part about the Mega Symphonia and Mega Brave. So let's look at it. Okay, so let's take a look at it. I marked out all the items I thought was important. And one of the main things is we got a lot for fighting archetype. It was meant to be paired with Lucario, but the issue is Lucario just don't feel as good as we could hope for. And we got the Premium Power Pro, which gives 30 more damage, which is not a lot. And we got the Fighting Gong, which makes you able to search for energy and Pokemons. And then we got two cards based on the Megas. We got the Mega Signal, which was super nice, makes you able to search for it instead of using Ultra Balls. Not super important in my opinion. I don't think it's good enough. And then we got Wally's Compassion, which makes you able to heal off all the damage, but put all energy attached into your hand. So I only think this will be good for the Mega Venusaur. Venusaur is the only one who got a lot of good support with the Forest of Vitality. And then Gardevoir got some support, but it's mainly meant for the current Gardevoir because it got an extra discard and draw engine. It got a way to Devo its own Pokemon. And then we got a little bit of dark support and a little bit of water type support. Nothing great for the current megas because the only water type is Mega Abomasnow and the only dark type is Mega Absol, and both feels a little bit underwhelming. But let's take a further look on why the megas is underwhelming and underperforming. So, megas are super nice and super cool, and we all remember the big flashy plays they could make. But in this format, you still need to set them up. We have Badu, which item blocks, which is huge killer for the megas. We have the Cyrano, which shouldn't be able to take Mega EXs. It's only made for regular EXs. There's a big difference there. So Cyrano's not able to fetch them. We have a super aggressive format where we have Raging Bolt and we have Gardevoir who sets up for aggressive plays in the mid to late game. We have the Ceruledge, the Arc Aludon. So we have a lot of aggressiveness in this current format, and we have some control aspects in the Badu, which is why I'm a little bit worried the Megas take too long to set up. Um, and then we have these control based decks, which likes when stuff goes slow. We have the Dragapult, we have the Charizard, and again, Gardevoir doesn't mind it going slower. Gardevoir has gotten so much good support, and it's actually the only Mega I think will be viable, because you can splash it into regular Gardevoir EX as a secondary attacker. I know you will mainly use Drifloon and Screamtail, but you can splash it in there, so it's fine. You can also evolve it away with the new time thingy. So Gardevoir is probably the only one who gets a big advantage of these Megas, And then we have some basics that is actually just a better option. We have the regular Armor Rouge. We have the Ho-Oh box, which does exactly the same as the Megas do. We have the Eevee box, which is just a big counter with a lot of different stuff. And there's just so much stuff in the current format that the Megas don't like. And there's not a lot of room to come back even with Festivity. And with stuff like Unfair Stamp. So I think this will be very interesting to see how will Omegas like perform. I personally think they will perform underwhelming because they give so many prizes and they don't have the time to set up in a fast-paced format like this one. In a slower-paced format, they would be amazing, but the power creep is so high right now, I don't think they will be cutting it. Okay, so I have talked a lot of smack about the Megas right now, but the Megas is still good. It's not like they are bad. They are just not meant for this format. So what would be needed for the Megas to actually be viable and to be something you play? Well, first off, the pacing needs to go down, but do try to fix it, but it's not enough. The Psyduck is also a way they are trying to fix the pacing. But the Megas are right now a high risk, low reward in a meta that rewards immediate pressure. So I think the metas is great at this point they are because they are not keeping increasing the power. The issue is right now have power crafted so much with Gardevoir, Charizard, Dragapult, Evolutions that the Megas don't have the room to be viable. I think that the most important part is that we are waiting the time out. There is a few months still until rotation. I think it was in April. So 6 months before the Megas will start getting really, really good. But as soon as we see Gardevoir leaving, as soon as we see Charizard leaving, Pidgeot, Dusknoir, all this high pressure counters to Mega, as soon as they leave the format, we are starting to see Megas get viable. And what we else would need is some basic Megas that are better than Kangaskhan. The Mega Charizard might be able to compete because it feels very much like a Raging Bolt. But I don't think it will be good enough because it still gives 3 prizes. But the Mega Archetype could start to outperform if we see them getting some way to be more aggressive. But right now, they are not aggressive enough to compete in a format that has so much immediate pressure by all these high pressure decks, and I think actually it's great. That's my opinion on it. I think it's great that they are not outperforming everything we have right now, because if they were outperforming, we would see an even higher power level. We would see the format getting more and more out of control. So what we need is actually to wait and hope for Pokemon to keep the power the Megas are and not just power creep it. Because if Pokemon keeps the power, the metagame would slowly start to get a little bit more fun. Not as many one-shots, not as fast-paced of a format, but a format where you actually have to have real skill, which is what I hope for. Right now it's a just one-shot format, and I don't think there's a good fix to that besides what we're doing here. There could be made some ways to make Megas viable right now, but I think the best way to make Megas viable is actually to wait and let them stay at the power level they are, because the doors for Megas is not closed. It's just waiting to be opened. As soon as the EXs start leaving, the Megas will be amazing to play with. And they would work like the VMAXs as a tool you splash in your deck and not as the main part of your deck. That's at least my idea behind them. You can use them as a main fort, but I think they will end up being a tool to add to the deck, not a main source of the deck. That's how I think Megas are intended to be played, and that's my opinion on this. Don't use them as a main tool, as they have been set up out to be, but use them as a extra supporter. Okay, so I've talked a lot of smack about the Megas. Personally, I still love the Megas are back. And if you think I'm wrong on this and think they still are stronger than what I'm making them out to be, let me know in the comments because I would love to talk more about this point in I'm making about the Megas. And until next time, see you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to participate in more of these meta talks, subscribe to the channel. I will do a lot more of these kind of videos. Until next time, peace out, stay safe and take care.